Oh, it's all up there.
Sound test, sound test. Check, check, check.
come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the lifers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the very heart of our homes. Happy Sunday, those of you joining us on the live stream today. This is a bittersweet Sunday of the church year. It's bittersweet because today we bid a thank you and a farewell to Greg Klein as our intern minister. We're not going to say a complete 100% goodbye yet, though, because he will stay on as our summer minister from June 6th until July 17th. So you get a little bit more of him after today, but he's transitioning out of the role of student and person totally in charge. Are you ready for this, sir?
Yes.
Yes, he says he's ready for it. All right. And so we will have a reception of celebration after the service. There's cake, there's punch on the patio. And we'll be thinking about vocation and calling and how that moves through our lives today in worship. We're really happy that you're spending Sunday morning with us. Each one of us is a light in the world, and the flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with love, compassion, and justice. May the flame inspire us to say yes to life. May it fill us with the courage to say yes to truth, and may it remind us to say yes to love. We light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop was once and still is the home of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into seeking justice and equity for all. We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May the waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence in holding all of these in our hearts.
And our opening hymn this morning is Just As Long As I Have Breath, number 6 in that gray hymnal. If you want to follow along, singing silently in your heart, humming out loud. If you want to just rise up and sway to the music, you can. I won't tell anyone if you do that, by the way. Number 6. That yes flows through your own heart and mind, take a moment, turn to a neighbor, and welcome them into Throop today. lately. And this morning's reading is a poem by Nancy Schaefer called The Calling. When you heard that voice and knew it finally called for you, and what was it saying? Where were you? Were you in the shower, wet and soapy, or chopping cabbage for that night's dinner? Were you planting radish seeds or seeking one last sock? Maybe wiping handprints off a window or coaxing words into a sentence or coming upon a hyacinth or one last no. Where were you when you heard that ancient voice and did a yes get born into you right then? Did you weep? Had it called you since before you were even born? And when you knew and heard, did all joy escape you? Where were you when you heard that calm voice? And how in that moment did you mark it? How in that moment were you forever changed? Tell us, please, all you can about that voice. Teach us how to listen, how to hear. Teach us all you can of saying yes. Our intern minister, Greg Klein, has been with us this year because at a moment in his life, he heard a yes calling him out of the corporate world that he had known so well and into this calling, into a world of church. A ministerial internship in a congregation is a time of on-the-ground learning, spiritual enrichment, relationship building, and I am going to tell you it is also full of weird surprises. You never know what's going to happen during your internship year, and the very best internships truly turn you inside out. Pull forth from you more than you thought you had, and in that, help you form your own pastoral voice, sense of authority, and presence. Greg, this year, you helped this church navigate through so much change, and you did so with flexibility, grace, and your signature good humor and smile. In your 9 months with us, we learned how to lead worship 4 different ways. Can you believe this? So first of all, we started online in September sharing online worship with Greg's other internship congregation because one wasn't enough for him. He had to have 2. He's an overachiever with the UUs of Santa Clarita Valley. And then you may remember we rolled in here into Throop Hall and did in-person worship and invited our friends to join us by Zoom. And then we had 2 or 3 glorious Sundays, starting with Christmas Eve, where we came and worshiped in here together. And then my heart broke because we had to go all online again, and Greg and I and some more of you learned how to lead a live stream worship from the sanctuary with just 2 or 3 of us in here, Brad being a very good audience as our live stream operator. Thank you, Brad. And then here we are, we reopened the sanctuary for us and invited our friends to join us on live stream. So I think maybe that's not 4, but actually 5 different ways of leading worship that Greg led and learned how to do this year. Greg, you've been a trusted colleague to me, someone that I counted on, a person with high integrity and a willingness to take on a large range of duties. You picked up administrative tasks, you helped us set up our live stream operation, you coordinated death cafes, attended justice rallies, and troop social events. And you were present with our people when they needed a deep listening presence in their lives. So for us, being a teaching congregation means that we start the relationship with our intern minister with an agreement that we know that no matter how much we love you and rely on you, that one day, this day will come, and we're going to have to practice the art of saying a really good, heartfelt, beautiful goodbye. Goodbyes are filled with tons of emotions, and endings are ways into new beginnings. And as I said in the welcome, Greg's not completely leaving Throop. He'll be here through July 17th as our summer minister, but we are today intentionally transitioning him out of this role, intern minister. Greg, no ministry happens alone. Ministry doesn't happen in a vacuum, and Greg had an intern committee that accompanied him the past 9 months. That intern committee was shared between Throop Church and his other congregation, the UUs of Santa Clarita Valley. And so 2 of his intern committee members are up here on the chancel, Marcella Luna and Terry Trindler. Thank you so much. His other intern committee members aren't here today. They're with us in spirit, the Reverend Ken Brown and Sammy Samampong. And we, as a Throop congregation, have a practice of offering a gift of appreciation to the departing intern minister. And today, Terry and Marcella will offer that gift to Greg.
For you from Throop and the congregation in Santa Clarita Valley.
Ooh.
The stole is a symbol of ordained ministry. We give this to you today as a way to tell you we see you as a minister, and we appreciate all you have shared with us this year.
This stole was made especially for you and includes symbolism from each of your teachings congregations.
It's yellow, your favorite color.
The river is to remind you of the Santa Clara River in Santa Clarita Valley.
The orange poppies are to remind you of Throop's learning garden.
The ladybugs were part of your call story, which led you to be with us as our intern minister.
And the stole is reversible, the other side saying, "Side with love" for you to wear at justice rallies.
Once you are ordained and can wear this regularly, we hope it reminds you of the relationships and connections you formed this year.
And Greg, we affirm your ministry with a congregational blessing. And congregation in Unitarian Universalism, it's not an outside authority that calls a person into our ministry, but a person really is called up and out of a congregation. It actually just so happens that there are some members from Greg's home congregation in Orange County here today. Thank you for being here. It was a happy happenstance. And so as part of this idea that you have been called up out of a group of gathered people, we'll offer blessings on you, and we're going to do it as a modified kind of laying on of hands, being cognizant that not everyone in the room today will feel comfortable getting up and moving and being close to people and actually putting your hand on someone's shoulder. If you're someone who is not going to feel really great about that, when we get to that point, I'll just invite you to lightly put your hands across your chest like this and to stay where you are. And so, Greg, just as you're able, if you want to come gently down the stairs. And if Angela, your wife, and Maggie, your beloved companion dog, want to come down the aisle and join you. And as the intern committee feels healthy and comfortable doing so, if you want to come be near Greg and Angela, either putting a hand on Greg's shoulder or just standing near him. And then congregation, those of you who feel comfortable moving and coming close, I invite you to come down and to put an arm on Terry or Marcella, just being mindful of space and other people's bodies. And if you feel most comfortable staying in a pew, then I invite you to, if your body allows this morning, to gently rise up in the pew. And if you want to just lift a hand out toward Greg and the gathered people. And as we offer Greg our blessings on his ministry, our litany invites you to respond with the words, "Go lifted up, love bless your way." And let's all look at Greg and say that right now as we practice it. Go lifted up, love bless your way. You heard the call to ministry, and with courage you answered it. Go lifted up, love bless your way. The path to ministry contains complex choices, and the ministry you're choosing will require daily choices that will shape the path in front of you. Go lifted up, love bless your way. Your ministry emerged from congregations in Baltimore, Phoenix, Orange County, and then was strengthened by these two congregations that expected all of your authentic self to show up. And there are new communities waiting to discover you and to know all the gifts you bring into the world. Go lifted up, love bless your way. As you continue to love the world in so many ways, may you experience beauty, share in joyful laughter, speak truth in love, and be mindful of your deep connection to the people and places that you call home. Go lifted up, love bless your way. And I invite you now to just send your own silent offering of gratitude to Greg, your feelings of love and appreciation. And Greg, just open up your own heart and just let them wash over and into you. Greg, this congregation sees a minister in you. Go forth now and continue to bless the world in ways that only you can. Thank you.
Thank you. That's probably what Tara's trying to tell me. It was. I can say it again because it means that much. This church is our church, and we support it through our gifts of time, talents, and treasure. And there are 3 ways to offer a financial gift this morning. Online or text to give, these are options in your order of service or in the live stream on chat. And being here in the room, you can also place a donation in our gift, a gift of a donation in our box. And thank you for supporting our life together.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, reach the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Megan, thank you for reminding me why I love that song. As we give thanks for this offering as well, please say the words of response to our offering in your order of service. For the ministries of this church and our community, we bless our offerings with love and hope. And as members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence for which we are a part. With hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources, we promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. And this is my opportunity to thank you. I ask you to please join me in a prayer of thanks and hope. Spirit of love and life and the universe to which we are all connected, I am truly filled with gratitude for those subtle and not so subtle nudges that have led me to this community. to the opportunity to grow with you, to offer my mind, my heart, and my soul to you, and to learn from you. May you be blessed with providing and receiving those same gifts with your new intern minister. And may Reverend Tara find time for rest, rejuvenation, learning, and reconnecting during her well-deserved time off. And may all our ways to peace and love be blessed. For all that lifts us, holds us, and sustains us, we give our thanks. Amen, and blessed be.
Breathe in, breathe out, 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 breathe in, breathe out. And so take a breath in with me. Exhale. Take in a breath of gratitude just once again for Greg's ministry, for the beautiful music offered by Megan and Amy and Rachel and Fiona. Breathe out that sense of peace. Recently, I read a story about a woman who found her vocation in an unlikely place. Her calling came to her in a spoonful of soup. The author, Ruth Reichel, loved food. She loved reading about it. She loved cooking it, tasting it, smelling it, eating it, everything about food. She says that even though food had been her passion since she was 8 years old, she never considered it as anything more than a hobby. And then one day, a friend suggested she write a cookbook, and everything changed. Reichel remembers, from the moment I picked up my pen to start writing it, I knew I had found my calling. My first cookbook is what made me a food writer. I began contributing articles to newspapers and magazines. I dreamed of writing for Gourmet magazine, the publication that had set me on this path. I was waiting for the perfect story, and I found it in a spoonful of soup. Well, when you heard that voice, when you knew it finally called for you and what it was saying, where were you? Were you in the shower all wet and soapy, or chopping cabbage late for dinner? Did it come to you perhaps in a spoonful of soup, or maybe you felt it in the tickle of a red ladybug crawling up your arm? Throop has been a teaching congregation since 2015 for Unitarian Universalist ministry students. And because we've made this commitment, because we've woven it into the purpose of our church, listening for our call is really part of our collective spiritual formation here. Sometimes when someone's new to Throop, I have to give them a warning. I say, watch out. Be careful, because your experience here may lead you into so much joy and new things in life that you might find yourself quitting your current job and going off in pursuit of those. As a teaching congregation, we provide a field education site where a student can immerse themselves in all aspects of ministry. You probably see them most often when they're up here leading worship and preaching. And then there are the other components of ministry that sometimes are not as visible. Things like opening mail and processing checks in the administration office. Terry Trindler's favorite. There are the quiet moments that are pretty invisible unless you're in them, which are those moments of pastoral care. There are the more public moments of being out in the streets with the rest of the community, advocating for justice and equity in the world. And of course, there is teaching and strengthening our community life here. And through engaging fully in all those aspects of ministry, the student gets a chance to discover if that calling they heard, which can seem mystical and romantic and amazing, does it really match up with on-the-ground work of congregational life? Is processing mail and checks really what you want to be doing? Theologian Frederick Buechner says that true vocation joins self and service. He defines vocation as the place where your deep gladness meets the world's deep need. Vocation shows up in so many ways in our lives. I know it best as how it shows up in ministry, but I look out at you and I see people who have been called to careers in teaching. You have been called to be an active and engaged parent. You have been called into prisons. You have been called into gardens. You have been called out into community organizing. The word vocation is rooted in the Latin word for voice. And we can't really force this sense of vocation. It rises up and out of our center, out of our own deeply held beliefs. It emerges from the people and places and ideas that we hold close to our hearts. Parker Palmer, author and activist, writes extensively about vocation. He says, before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen for what your life intends to do with you. Before you tell your life what truths and values you have decided to live up to, let your life tell you what truths and values you embody, what values you represent. At Throop, we benefit from being ministered to by our intern ministers, by these people who are in the process of turning themselves inside out. For those coming into the ministry as a second career, part of the formation process is them disassembling and learning how to integrate a professional identity that may have taken them decades to form. So at Throop, our very first intern minister shifted out of a career as a full-time mathematician. Emily came out of a career as a social worker working in downtown LA with women who are unhoused. Samantha came to us as a community organizer and restorative justice practitioner in the prison system. Liz came to us out of the nonprofit sector, Greg from the business world, and in September, you'll meet our next intern minister, Jake Heron, who is coming to us out of a military career. How lucky are we that we have such a broad array of backgrounds and interests that come here to delight us and fill us with wonder and inspire us. Being turned inside out can be exhilarating and it can be painful. Some of these inside out moments we choose, like being a parent or falling in love, and some of these inside out moments we would never have chosen for ourselves. The death of a grandparent, the ending of a marriage, that chronic health issue that gets worse and worse as the months go on. When an intern minister arrives here, they've made an intentional decision to turn their life upside down in pursuit of their calling. And you know from the times in your life when you have been turned inside out that there is almost no other time of life where you feel so vulnerable, so raw, so uncertain about what comes next. Inevitably, at some point, disappointment pierces through. As a teaching pastor and as a faculty member at a seminary, I tell my students that it is most likely that there will be a point in their process when they will face a major road bump. It will hurt, and it may feel like failure when it happens. And I wonder, when you have found yourself in an inside-out place in life, what did that feel like? And what did you do when it felt like you were losing your grounding? When you questioned the path you were on? When you wondered, what in the world was I thinking that I could do this almost impossible thing in the first place? For Ruth Reichel, who tasted her call in a spoonful of soup, when she pitched that perfect story idea to Gourmet magazine, she was told a firm but polite, no thank you. For me, after I did all of my seminary school requirements, after I did my year of internship, when I got to the final step in that process, seeing the National Credentialing Committee Board, I was told a firm but polite, no thank you. You're not ready yet. You can come back and see us again next year. I know only too well the pain of that piercing disappointment when you think you're following the path you're meant to be on, and yet you're told a firm but polite no. I tell my seminary students that finding their way through whatever that disappointment will be is a crucial part of their ministry formation, that one day they will pastor a people and a place out of whatever it was they learned from that disappointment or failure. I know for myself, as hard as that particular moment was, it has since then led to a life filled with so much joy, fulfillment, wonder, and satisfaction. And definitely, I am a better minister for that particular moment in my life that I would not have chosen. Those times in our life can turn into some of the richest, most fulfilling, and rewarding times. If we can open our hearts to the lesson that they are bringing us. Because if you decide that despite the disappointment, if you decide despite whatever shame or roadblock is in front of you, that you are indeed, yes, listening to that life that wants to live inside of you, you will find yourself doing and being exactly where the world needs you to be. Doing that thing that lights you up from the inside, that gives you a full and hearty sense of yes to all that is and will be. And we come to those places not on our own, but we get there connected in community. Connected together, connected with what we know as God, our spirit, connected with our own hearts, and of course, connected with those of you in the pews. When you hear that voice, whether it's in a panful of soapy water, whether it's in a spoonful of soup or a ladybug crawling tentatively up your arm, I hope you open your heart to it. I hope you feel brave enough and wild enough and supported enough to say your yes to life and yes to love. May it be so.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle neath your skin. Kept on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave with what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. I want to see you. I just want to see you. Just want to see you. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy, fallen for the fear and a disappearing, bow down to the mighty. Don't run, stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in and show me how big your brave is. Say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave with what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave with what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. I want to see you. I just want to see you. I want to see you be brave. See you be brave.
Megan, Greg, yes, Jesus. Congregation. Put a hand on your heart and one out to the live stream or someone in the room. Our chalice is extinguished. We carry its light with us into a world that is asking us to follow our yes to love and yes to truth and yes to life. Let us be brave and courageous in our quest for seeking justice and equity. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen. And blessed be. Reception on the back patio after the postlude.